Sent them to, and we all choked down some stuff you wouldn't believe. And we sent them to Senator Schumer, my friend. He refused to bring the bills to the floor of the Senate. Now, that's when he was in the majority. You really think he's going to allow us to vote on a budget when the politics have changed and his politics? If you do, you're Willie Nelson high. You're smoking some of the best dope God ever put breath in. What appropriations process? All we've got left are CRs and rescission packages. And President Trump's not the first president to ever send a rescission package, is he?
No, sir.
A bunch of presidents have, haven't they? And did civilization melt?
They did not.
No, they didn't.
In one of the most explosive Senate showdowns to date, Senator John Kennedy unleashed a no-holds-barred takedown of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and the broken budget process that has plunged America deeper into debt. With sharp wit, brutal honesty, and a fearless tongue, Kennedy took the gloves off and made it clear he wasn't there to play games. This isn't just another Senate hearing. This is Senator Kennedy on fire, and what he said will leave you stunned. Kennedy started by tearing into what he called the fantasy of the current appropriations process, and who did he point the finger at? None other than Chuck Schumer. Kennedy didn't mince words. What sanctity, what integrity, what appropriations process? So sit back and let's dive right in.
Mr. Director, I want to apologize for the protesters, but I can assure you that under congressional rules and the laws in the District of Columbia, they will be promptly punished and put on double secret probation. You'll probably see them back again today. I think the president's demonstrated that he understands that what you allow is what will continue. We seem to have a problem with that concept. I listened to some of my colleagues accuse you of doing everything but abandoning your children to wolves. They accuse you of undermining the sanctity and integrity of the appropriations process. And I'm sitting here thinking, what sanctity? What integrity? What appropriations process? I'm proud to serve on this committee. I watched this committee last year. We passed 11 out of 12 minibuses. Sent them to, and we all choked down some stuff you wouldn't believe. And we sent them to Senator Schumer, my friend. He refused to bring the bills to the floor of the Senate. Now, that's when he was in the majority. You really think he's going to allow us to vote on a budget when the politics have changed and his politics? If you do, you're Willie Nelson high. You're smoking some of the best dope God ever put breath in. What appropriations process? All we've got left are CRs and rescission packages. And President Trump's not the first president to ever send a rescission package, is he?
No, sir.
A bunch of presidents have, haven't they? And did civilization melt?
They did not.
No, they didn't. Now, you want to know how we got $36 trillion in debt? Just listen to this. Let me tell you what it's like. A majority, and not everybody, a majority of this body, they're all for cutting spending porn. They're all for going to heaven, but they're not ready to make the trip. That's how we got to $36 trillion. This stuff about PEPFAR, oh my God, you're going to destroy the world. Now, there's a part of PEPFAR that deals with money for life-saving care, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And there's a part of PEPFAR that you look at it and you want to say, pass me the sick bucket, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
And you're getting rid of the sick bucket stuff.
Yes, sir.
You're getting rid of $5.5 million to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex advocacy in Uganda, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
I can't believe we're arguing about this. I can't believe we're arguing about this. PEPFAR, we're not denying life-saving care to anybody, are we?
No. And $10 billion would remain for that funding.
And a couple of my colleagues have made the point, well, this was President Biden. President Biden ate my homework. And these programs have already expired. Some of these are multi-year programs, aren't there?
Yes, multi-year grants.
Senator John Kennedy didn't just show up to that Senate hearing, he showed up for the American people. In a political landscape overrun with vague promises, backroom deals, and budgetary gymnastics, Kennedy stood out like a lighthouse in a storm. He didn't speak in rehearsed sound bites, he spoke in hard truths, and he did it with wit, grit, and fearless conviction. When others tiptoed around the failures of Senate leadership, Kennedy called them out directly, especially Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. He laid bare the hypocrisy of a system that claims to care about fiscal responsibility, yet refuses to bring budgets to a vote, ignores rising debt, and buries bills for political convenience. Kennedy didn't just criticize, he clarified. He exposed how public funds are being funneled into political pet projects and ideological causes overseas while everyday Americans struggle under the weight of inflation, broken systems, and government waste. He reminded everyone that being in office isn't about scoring points, it's about serving the people. And when it came to public broadcasting and unnecessary spending, Kennedy cut through the noise with one simple question. Why are we giving money to institutions that push politics instead of public service? While our nation is $36 trillion in debt, that's not obstruction, that's common sense. In a room full of lawmakers content with the status quo, Kennedy was the outlier, not because he was loud, but because he was honest. He said what the American people are thinking, that Washington is out of touch, broken, and desperately in need of real reform. So while others posture and pretend, Senator Kennedy leads with plain talk and principle. And that's why his voice is not just important, it's indispensable. If more leaders had half his backbone, maybe Congress wouldn't be so lost in the fog. This wasn't just a political rant, it was a full-blown exposure of a broken system, delivered by one man brave enough to speak the truth. Senator Kennedy didn't just confront the chaos, he demolished it, with facts, humor, and fearless conviction. If you believe more Americans need to see this kind of leadership in action, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's bring accountability back to Washington.